On Larry King Now, Game of Thrones star Nikolaj Coster-Waldau.
To be honest, I didn't expect us to be doing this 7 years later. I read the script and I was like, this is a great story, but it's crazy. How can you shoot this as a television show?
What kind of mind does Martin have?
He's got a sick mind, for sure. No, I mean, it's just, I don't know how these writers, it's like Tolkien, you know, when those people that are Rowling, they create these enormous worlds that you can dive into, and it just seems that I don't know how they do it. Just an amazing imagination.
Do you know the end?
I don't know the end, no.
Come on.
Well, I wouldn't tell you anyway, but I don't know the end.
Plus,
there's 17 global goals, and then I picked 2 to focus on. One was climate change, the other one was gender equality. My wife is from Greenland, and as you know, Greenland, you actually see the consequences quite clearly there. You see the glaciers receding, and it's something that affects all of us.
All next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. My special guest is Nikolaj Coster-Waldau, the critically acclaimed actor, best known as Jaime Lannister on HBO's mega hit series Game of Thrones, currently in its 7th season. We've also seen Nikolaj in films like Black Hawk Down, Kingdom of Heaven, more recently Small Crimes on Netflix. Newest movie is Shot Caller, a very powerful role where he portrays a successful businessman turned prison gangster, and we'll talk about the movie in a while. Well, you survived this week's Game of Thrones, right? You didn't die.
No, I didn't.
When you signed on for this, did you expect to die?
Yes. I mean, well, I to be honest, I didn't expect us to be doing this 7 years later. I read the script and I was like, this is a great story, but it's crazy. How can you shoot this as a television show? But I was wrong.
You didn't have to try out for it? They came to you?
No, I mean, no, I did a scene. I read for the guys, and then they offered it to me, and then they told me that like if we were lucky, the first 3 years, I knew what was going to happen, and off we went.
Why is it a hit?
That's a good question. I mean, I think it's a mix of things. I think. As always with any good show, you have characters that you can identify with. You have dilemmas that are interesting, intriguing. It's fundamentally a good story, interesting. It has surprises. Season 1 we killed off what we thought was the main guy, Ned Stark, Sean Bean's character. That was one of those moments where you go, will this make or break the show? And it thankfully, it made people even more excited about it. And then I think that, it's set in this like weird parallel universe, so it can play everywhere, which is also part of the success.
There are no countries named, right?
No,
they
exactly.
invent their own names.
Exactly. But that's one of the things. I mean, I've been traveling, and it never ceases to amaze me that wherever I go, people they watch the show. They love the show.
All over the world?
All over the world.
George R.R. Martin wrote the books,
yes.
Right? Do you know him?
I've met him. Of course, he's an executive producer on the show, and he's a great guy. Clearly,
is he American?
He's American, yeah, from Jersey.
What kind of mind does Martin have?
He's got a sick mind, for sure. No, I mean, no, but it's just. I don't know how these writers. It's like Tolkien, when those people that are Rowling, they create these enormous worlds that you can dive into, and it just seems that I don't know how they do it. Just an amazing imagination.
How do you view Jaime Lannister?
Well, I like him. He tries his best. Obviously, I mean, I remember when I read it first, I thought it was just an amazing character. The first scene, more or less, see him have sex with his sister, and he tries to kill an innocent kid. I thought that's a great starting point. And then I knew what was going to happen. I knew he had this big transformation. That's the thing about all these characters is that, and one of the fun things about doing a show that goes for so long is that you have time to show different aspects. You don't have to show everything in one go.
Would you call Jaime heroic?
He's done heroic things. He's also done horrible things. But I think he it sounds really bad. He comes from a good place, but he does. And then the first thing, and I think that the one thing that defines him, he has a line in episode 1 where he does something horrible and then he says, "The things I do for love." And I think that is at his core. And I think that's why you kind of forgive him a lot.
Does he love his little brother?
He loves his little brother. He also loves his sister. But he loves his little brother for sure.
The violence in it, the action, the money it costs to make each episode. This is HBO's biggest hit ever, right?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. But it's also fun. I mean, we shot this sequence that was shown 2 weeks ago. It's called The Loot Train. It took us almost 4 weeks. We shot in Spain. And the director had all the toys available. There was no difference from shooting that hour of television to shooting the biggest movie in Hollywood. And it's just exhilarating and it's fun to do.
But for a subscription television company, no sponsors.
I know. It's how do they do it?
How do they make money?
I don't know. How do they?
I know they have people who pay every month to watch, but
yeah, but still, it's surprising. But then again, I've noticed that because over the years we've done various contracts, and then they get thicker and thicker, and there's a lot of merchandise being sold.
Do you have any input into the scripts?
I try, but no.
Next year is its last year, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
It's I'm going to miss the people, but it's a great feeling that it's one story. You tell one story. It's an 80-hour story.
Do you know the end?
I don't know the end. No.
Come on.
Well, I wouldn't tell you anyway, but I don't know the end.
Obviously it's been a boon to your career financially and professionally. Is there a way it might hurt you?
Well, I know what you're saying, yeah.
Are you Jamie all the time?
The first thing I did, as you know, I'm from Denmark, and the first job I got was a movie called Night Watch, and it became a huge hit in Denmark. And it took quite some time, but I was known as the guy from that movie. And then that's always going to be the case. You do something that's successful, and, you might have done 10 other things and no one's seen that. So I don't worry about it. It's a good problem.
You're not kidding. When we come back, Nikolaj will detail his new film, Shot Caller, including what he did to prepare for this role. Stay with us on Larry King Now. We'll be right back. We're back with Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. I love 3 names. That's hip. All right, the new film is Shot Caller, a title that would tell me nothing.
No.
What is it about?
Well, Shot Caller is it's a prison drama. The shot caller has the keys to the yard, so he controls the yard, the prison, the prisoners.
He's a guard?
No, he's an inmate, but he is in control of what they say the yard, which means that he controls how people act with it.
And that's you?
That he becomes a shot caller.
So how does he go to prison?
Well, it starts out he makes a really stupid mistake, a terrible thing. He goes out with some friends, has a few glasses of wine. He drives home, the friend's in the back, he runs a red light, crashes the car, his friend is killed. He was over the limit, so he goes away for involuntary manslaughter. And you would think, and he's absolutely, he knows he has, he's done something horrible, he's ready to do the time. But what he's not prepared for is prison. In the prison system, and how extreme that experience is, and how what you have to do to survive. So he comes into this prison, and which is completely segregated by race, and it's like a Shark Tank. And I remember reading the script, and I thought, can this really be true? And then I spoke to Rick Wall, the director and the writer, and he spent years doing research. And I met some former inmates and some current inmates, and various people.
Is it an American prison?
Yes, it's American. It's set in L.A., and that's where the guy's from. And I find out that is really the case. I mean, these gangs that run the prisons. I mean, there are so many things I learned I didn't know. I mean, I thought that the gangs in prison would be, the gangs from the streets that didn't spill into the prison. I didn't know that it was the other way around, that these gangs in the streets started inside and are still run from inside, which is insane. But anyway, the guy comes in, and to survive, he joins up with the white gang.
He's a white supremacist.
White supremacist, yeah. And then he says...
Right in the news today.
Well, I know, it's a terrible thing. But he's like, okay, I'm just going to go with this I'll just get me through these 2 years, and then I'll be out, and then I'll forget about it. But of course, once you shake hands with the devil won't let go. So it has some fairly tragic.
Did you go into any prisons?
We went down. Yeah, I went to one, and it was a. I mean, I think one of the things about this movie is that, first of all, I feel I'm very lucky to be part of this, and I think that what you want to do with any movie or any television show, you want to entertain people. You want to want it to be a great story, and then if you're lucky, hopefully sometimes it'll be about something that would make people think. And I think Rick Waugh achieved that with Shot Caller, because it's a gripping, thrilling movie, but then it's also about something that affects all of us, and it's that there's a desperate need for prison reform in this country. It just doesn't work, and we're wasting enormous amounts of money and resources.
I had a great psychiatrist, Carl Menninger, tell me the biggest failure in history is prisons.
That's true. It
fails to do what it's supposed to do.
And it's just, it fails us as well.
Right.
And then
we spend money wastefully.
Wastefully, and also it's just the human resources that we waste. I mean, you have, yes, a 19-year-old boy, he does something stupid, steals a car, he steals, I mean, that's so stupid. Yes, you have to pay a price. But hopefully we should be able to put this guy back into
that's the goal.
Society. Yeah, but that's the whole rehabilitation is not a priority now.
It's like Les Mis. once you're in it, does this guy have anything likable?
Well, yes. I mean, I think yes, absolutely. He loves his family, and of course he's very much aware of the consequences that it's not only his life that's destroyed, it's his ex-wives, his son. I mean, it has horrible consequences, but at least he's still driven by wanting to make something right in life.
Do you think it will be well received?
I hope so.
Are you good at that? Are you good at guessing?
No, I'm not. No, you never know. But I've seen the movie, and I think he did a great. I mean, all of us did a great job with that movie. And I think that the people who have shown it to, they're very excited about it.
Do you like Hollywood? Do you like the whole aspect of movies and?
Yeah, no, it's I love this country. I've been coming here, since I was a young man, and then it's always been, Hollywood has been this magical place. And I remember I worked with the director Michael Apted years ago. And he moved out here, and I said, "Why'd you do that?" And he said, "Well, if you want to work in this, do movies, this is where you go," which is very true. It's the place.
Have you done theater?
I did the first 10 years of my career. I did theater, a lot of theater. I miss it.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
it's life.
That's the actors.
Yeah, it's where you learn your craft. Yeah, for sure.
After the break, Game of Thrones star Nikolaj Coster-Waldau will step into the If You Only Knew hot seat. You won't want to miss this. The new film is Shot Caller, in theaters August 18th. We'll be right back. Back with Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. The film is Shot Caller, opening Friday, August 18th. You were a UN ambassador, right?
Yeah, Goodwill ambassador, yes.
There have been many in that role. Danny Kaye.
Yeah.
Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, I basically, with the success of Game of Thrones, there's a bit of spotlight here. I try to put that spotlight on something a little more interesting.
Climate change, right?
Well, there's 17 global goals, and then I picked 2 to focus on. One was climate change, the other one was gender equality. My wife is from Greenland, and as you know, Greenland, you actually see the consequences quite clearly there. You see the glaciers receding, and it's something that affects all of us, and I think it's very important that we take it seriously, and the world is taking it seriously, and things are happening.
Except some people in the world who don't believe in science.
Yeah, and that's
which I can't understand.
I don't understand how
I love people who say, "I'm not a scientist, but."
No, but what is?
But what?
But what? It's like saying I don't believe in the color red. Well, okay. Well, you have your beliefs, but let's not make that the
Do you
ground.
have children?
I have 2 daughters. Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, it's wonderful.
How old are they?
13 and 16. I got 2 teenagers. Yeah,
Those years.
No, but it's, yeah. It's,
Are they in Denmark?
They're back home in Denmark, yeah.
We play a little game of If You Only Knew.
Okay.
I just throw some questions at you.
Okay.
Okay, Nikolaj, who was your childhood celebrity crush?
Oh, that was Agneta from ABBA. The blonde girl from ABBA.
Oh, yeah.
Pop band, yeah. That was
Biggest risk you ever took?
the biggest risk I ever took. I don't know. I guess acting.
Favorite part about being in America? Do you have a home here?
I don't have a home here, no.
What do you like about being here?
I love the energy, and I love the people. Yeah.
Place we'd find you on a day off?
In the forest, in the mountain, on a mountain bike.
You know, they're dangerous, though.
I love it. Yeah.
Person you'd like to switch places with for a day?
Just for a day, I'd like to go to one of the astronauts in the space station, just to get up there and have a look down. That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Strangest job you've ever had?
I spent a summer cleaning a sawmill as a young man. It was the filthiest thing I've ever done.
Best piece of advice you ever received?
Don't take advice.
You don't take worst or bad?
No, but that was the best piece of advice. Don't take advice.
Longest period of time you've been awake? Well, I was thinking about it. You know, I was thinking of it. I remember mine because I did an all-night radio show and I did television during the day, and I think it was 24 hours.
Wow. Well, I think, yeah, well, we talked about Iceland, and I think that...
where it's dark or light all the time.
Yeah, and I shot there when I was in '97, and we had it was the same thing, 24-hour, where we just kept shooting. It was a low-budget movie we had to finish in. But you go crazy in the end, don't you?
Yeah, oh, yeah, I don't know how they do it. Person from history you'd like to take to lunch?
There's a few. Well, the obvious ones are the ones that did... Oh, Da Vinci.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Role you regret turning down?
I don't have any.
Really?
No.
There wasn't something you said no, and then you saw it on the screen and said, why did I not take that?
No. I usually don't go watch that, the stuff I turned down.
What's something we should all be paying more attention to?
I think we are now. I just, the notion of just don't judge other people, you know. The whole thing of them and us, let's just, don't judge.
Are you having difficulty with our presidency?
No, not the presidency. Maybe the guy sitting in the chair, but...
I should have said that better. Luxury you can't live without?
Chocolate.
Most difficult Game of Thrones scene to shoot?
Well, the most difficult physically was for this two episodes ago. I had to fall into this river, and we shot in this tank in Belfast, and it was a whole day of just falling through the water in this armor, and it was absolutely disgusting. It was.
How do they choose where they're going to go? Like, why were they in Belfast?
Well, Belfast, Northern Ireland is amazing. They have so many different locations, and it's easy to get around. It's a small town. You don't waste too much time in traffic. They have studios, and they have an amazing tax break, of course. Spain, they have beautiful castles, great tax break. Iceland's just expensive, but they have ice. And Croatia has them. Dubrovnik is beautiful.
Where's the base?
That's Belfast. That's where we have.
That's where the interiors are shot?
Yeah.
So the cast is there throughout the shooting?
Yeah. We have, like, up until now, we've had 2 full-size units shooting at the same time. So one called Dragon, the other one's called Wolf, and usually one of them will be in Spain and the other one will be in Belfast.
Do you like the people of Northern Ireland?
Yeah, they're great.
Do they still have it in for the British?
Oh, yeah, but that's...
That ain't gonna end.
That's not gonna end, no.
In our final moments, my Twitter and Facebook feeds were flooded with questions for Nikolaj. We'll get to answering a few of them right after this. We're back with Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. The film Shot Caller will open on the 18th. He, of course, is one of the stars of the mega hit Game of Thrones. Corey Anderson asks, you display lots of great leadership qualities as Jaime Lannister. Are there any real-life experience you've pulled these traits from?
No, I'm a father, I guess. But no, I think if I use that as an excuse for leadership, my wife would hit me. No.
Do you like Jaime?
Yeah, I like him very much. Yeah.
Do you have to like him?
No, I don't think you have to like a character you play. You have to try to understand him and understand.
Like Shot Caller, do you like the character?
Well, I like him as well. I like most of my characters. It's funny because no, I have played some real not very nice people that I didn't like. But there are also some parts I've been offered that I just couldn't do because there was that big story a couple of years ago. Now I can't remember what high school it was, but with a football coach that was, abusing kids, right? Mm-hmm. And there was a script that came my way, which was kind of used that as inspiration, and it was to play that kind of guy, and I just couldn't do it.
Corey Anderson on the Larry King Now blog asks, what can you tell us about Domino?
Oh yes, that's it's a European movie that Brian De Palma is directing. We're shooting it right now. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I'm very lucky. I get to work with him. He's brilliant.
He lays everything out, right?
It's just and then he has this very specific vision. Yeah. It's a thrilling story. It's about what goes on in Europe now with the paranoia. It's a thriller, and it's about this constant sense of threat from terrorist attacks.
You're shooting now?
We're shooting now, yeah.
Where?
We're shooting in Denmark, in Brussels, in Spain.
You like all the traveling?
I do, yeah.
Joe Meekum on the Larry King Now blog. I know you've been asked this a lot, but what does it take for you to betray your sister on Game of Thrones? What will it take for you?
Well, for Jaime, to betray. I mean, it's a good question. I mean, I wish I knew the answer, but and even if I did, I would. The answer.
Tell me anyway.
It would be watch the show. You're gonna have to watch the show to find out if there is an answer to that question.
At Chromoticus on Twitter, who are your closest friends on the Game of Thrones set?
Well, it's some of the crew members, of course, the writers, and then my scene partners, like Gwendolyn Christie. We've become really good friends. Dinklage, Lena Headey.
Also, Chromatitches on Twitter. What has been your favorite shooting location for Game of Thrones?
Well, there's Dubrovnik is wonderful. I mean, I remember we shot there in season 3, and it's just beautiful, beautiful city right on the ocean. Spain, and all of the places. Belfast, I love it.
At P. Williamson on Twitter, do you watch Game of Thrones every week?
No. I watch it when I can. I am up to date.
Do you watch dailies?
No.
You know what you did, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Magna Purple on Twitter, what was the worst audition you ever had?
Oh, there's a few. I think the worst one is kind of funny. It was an American movie. I flew out for this thing, and I was told that I was going to meet the director, the producers, and basically I walked in and they had no idea I was coming. But the casting director just told me to sit down, and then she had one of those little cameras, and she hit the camera as if she turned it on, and she said, "Go ahead." And I started my scene. It was like a long 5-page monologue. I got halfway there, and I heard that sound of that I know well from when you put on an idle for too long, it just shuts down. So she hadn't even turned it on, and that was probably the low point of like she didn't want to waste tape on me.
And finally, KJM on Twitter, 1016 on Twitter. What was your Game of Thrones audition like?
It was very quick and painless.
They hired you right away?
Yes, I was very lucky.
You're more than lucky.
Thank you, yes.
Big thanks to my guest, Nikolaj Coster-Waldau. Be sure to tune into the remaining episodes of the 7th season, like I have to tell you, of Game of Thrones airs Sunday nights at 9 p.m. on HBO. And look for Nikolaj in Shot Caller, out now in theaters. As always, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things, and I'll see you next time.